Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ, and I'm here with another video this week for the UBC. We are team building for our Week 4 matchup against the Maryland Mienshaos, coached by none other than Miendoge, aka Jack. We, of course, are the Baltimore Oriolus, and the Mienshaos are the #1 team in the league at this moment. They are 3-0, undefeated, only undefeated team in the league. They have the highest differential, and they are fresh off of a 6-0 victory against the Florida Gators, coached by John, last week. They used Calm Mind Raikou to get to +6/+6, and they swept the Gators pretty clean. It was a very horrifying showing, to say the least. But, of course, if we can knock off Jack here this week, it puts us in a pretty good position to be considered amongst the top-tier battlers in this league. And with any luck, we've got the team to knock out Jack this week, And we'll start off with our buddy Bloat, the Qwilfish, who is rocking Spikes, Taunt, Scald, and Explosion. Qwilfish is the suicide lead this week. His goal is to get up as many spikes as possible, and then boom on whatever is sitting in front of him. The Mienshaos don't have a Defogger, they don't have Rapid Spinner, they don't have a Magic Bounce user. They probably get a couple Pokemon that get Taunt, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm more just trying to take advantage and abuse the fact that he doesn't have any reliable hazard removal. And he has, Pokemon like Raikou for Volt Turn with Landorus and Staraptor. Staraptor and Landorus obviously don't take any damage from Spikes, but if he wants to use those Pokemon to pivot into something like Kyurem, or back into Raikou, or into Cofagrigus, or Porygon 2, any of those Pokemon, he's going to have to take some Spikes damage. And I think that is going to add up really quick. Then Scald is kind of there just as a last-ditch attempt if we want to try and burn something and we decide that Scald or Explosion's not the right move. Like, for example, on Cofagrigus, it might be the right move to go for. Taunt's also there for Cofagrigus, preventing Will-O-Wisp or Toxic Spikes. We can maybe, if we're facing down a Lando T and we know that it's not Scarf, then we can go for Taunt and prevent the rocks. So yeah, that's Qwilfish this week. Now the next two Mons I think are really going to partner nicely with Qwilfish this week. First off, we've got Bane, the Nidoking. We also have Heath Ledger, the Entei, who I'll discuss in a moment. But we are bringing Life Orb Nidoking this week with Sludge Wave, Earth Power, Ice Blast, or Ice Beam, and Focus Blast. Timid Nature, we didn't run fully max speed. So there's something on his team that hit 290. What is it? Some member of his team, like with an Adamant Nature, gets to 290. Not sure off the top of my head what it is, but it doesn't really matter. It outspeeds something. And he doesn't have anything at the 85 speed tier, so it's not like we needed to speed tie with anything. So we dumped a tiny bit of investment into HP and defense. Not a lot, probably not enough to make a difference. Probably just better off not complicating things and running a max speed Nidoking. But in any case, back to the point at hand, which is that Nidoking forces switches. And when you have Spikes up and potentially Stealth Rocks up on your opponent's side of the field, you punish them for making those switches. So they're going to be taking a lot of damage from the hazards. Plus, Nidoking is just a monster, and any one of these moves is going to greatly weaken Jack's team. So that's Nidoking's main goal, is to force switches and poke holes. And Heath Ledger has a similar goal this week. We are running Choice Banded Entei with Sacred Fire, Flare Blitz, Stone Edge, and Extreme Speed. Sacred Fire is obviously there because burns are amazing. His only fire resist is Vaporeon. So he doesn't have anything that can really switch into this. Nothing on his team really appreciates a burn. We also have Flare Blitz in case we just need to get off more damage. Flare Blitz is a higher base power than Sacred Fire, obviously. Stone Edge is there for the coverage, and Extreme Speed is obviously a great priority if we're in a situation late game. where his team is sufficiently weakened, we could probably sweep with Extreme Speed in Choice Band, which is pretty great. But Entei is pretty much going to be doing the same thing as Nidoking, just from the physical side. We need him to make swaps so that he can take additional hazard damage, and he needs to weaken Jack's team, just with the giant hits, coming off a pretty big 361 attack stat, which is, of course, enhanced by the Choice Band. And if he's able to land a burn with Sacred Fire, then they're going to be taking even more residual damage. So I think that's the three Pokemon that I would say my strategy really revolves around this week. The next Pokemon on my team is Benjamin, the Leftovers specially defensive Bronzong with Stealth Rock, Gyro Ball, Toxic, and Rest. This is basically the same Bronzong set that I've been bringing all season. Stealth Rock, Gyro Ball, and Toxic have basically been on all my sets. I think I ran like Heavy Slam 1 week, but it's Steel Stab. That's what the point I'm trying to get at. I'm also bringing Rest this week. Rest is going to be really nice for something like Porygon. It's also actually going to be relatively nice for Kyurem and Staraptor. If I can go for a Toxic on any of those Pokemon, and then I go for a Rest, I can stall them out a little bit. And as you'll see in a little bit, I'm also rocking Heal Bell on Clefable. So if I need to swap out into bring in another Pokemon, I can bring Clef in later and get up a Heal Bell. And this thing can go back to setting up Stealth Rocks and walling a large majority of his team. So hopefully I can get Bronzong in. If he's got something like Choice Scarf Kyurem or Choice Scarf Staraptor, Bronzong's going to be a good check to those mons. I'm hoping to see, or I'm expecting to see one of those two Pokemon Choice Scarfed, because it's probably the best answer that he has to Sceptile. He could also potentially bring Choice Scarf Landorus, but Landorus is his only rocker. So, Scarf Rocks is definitely a thing that I've seen in the past, but it just seems a little bit less likely when you consider the options of Scarf Staraptor or Scarf Kyurem. But anyway, yeah, he's here to wall those mons and set up rocks, as I mentioned. We also are bringing Sceptile this week with Focus Blast, Leaf Storm, Hidden Power Ice, and Dragon Pulse. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't think he has a single Dragon Resist on his team. Pretty positive about that. And so Dragon Pulse obviously can do some pretty tremendous damage. Leaf Storm is powerful stab. Hidden Power Ice is for Lando. Focus Blast is for things like Porygon. It also hits Meloetta. It doesn't really hit it that hard, but if he's Relic Song Meloetta, then the Focus Blast will be nice. We do outspeed Relic Song Meloetta. We also outspeed Raikou before we Mega Evolve. I only noticed that a moment ago, actually. If that had happened and we'd come up in a situation in game, I would have been really sad to realize that Sceptile does not outspeed Raikou. Sceptile's a decent check to Raikou otherwise. Obviously HP Ice is a thing, but as long as we're outspeeding, it should be fine. And we do a pretty tremendous amount of damage with Leaf Storm. Pretty sure after Stealth Rocks and a layer of spikes that it's going to OHKO. I could have run Earthquake instead, but this actually does more damage with the special attack investment that we have to that Raikou. So even though Raikou's like pretty especially bulky and Leaf Storm's not super effective, the fact that it's stab and it's coming off of such a huge attack stat is what's going to really poke the hole into Raikou. So just to, I guess, to bring it back for a second, the point of Tomahawk is to clean up in the late game. If we are able to weaken his team enough with the hazards and weaken his team enough with Bane and Heath Ledger, there's no reason that Sceptile shouldn't be able to sweep. Dragon Pulse is going to do good damage to most of his team. And, the mons that we need the coverage for, we have it. So this is the cleaner. This is the finisher. This is the sweeper. Sceptile's been doing nice work this season. I'm pretty proud of it. And I'm hoping it can pick up another couple of kills this week. Last but not least, we have Neil, our Clefable. Rockin' Unaware again this week, but the set is a little bit different than what we brought against Addo. We're bringing Calm Mind, Heal Bell, Soft Boiled, and Moonblast. The main reason I wanted to bring, I guess there's a few reasons I wanted to bring Clef. First, I don't really have a great answer to Calm Mind Raikou or Calm Mind Meloetta, especially Meloetta. Meloetta is really scary. So Unaware, Calm Mind, Clef can easily beat those. But that being said, his only fairy resist is Vileplume. So if we can get rid of Vileplume, if he even brings it, then mono attacking Moonblast is really pretty good. We could have packed Flamethrower to account for that, but I don't really want to stay in on Vileplume with Clef to try and get off that Flamethrower. Plus, the Vileplume is really threatened by Pokemon like Heath Ledger, and also Bane threatens it pretty greatly. Bronzong mostly walls it. If it's like Sleep Powder or Vileplume, then we have to figure out what to do about that. But anyway, Heal Bell is nice because if he tries to wall us with something like Porygon 2 and just like Recover Stall, it's after getting off a Toxic, it's not going to work because we have Heal Bell. He could try and paralyze us and flinch us or do whatever. I'm not really sure exactly how that would work, but we have Heal Bell. So this also has the potential to end up cleaning up in the late game. It's a really good check to Kyurem. It's not a great check to Pokemon like Staraptor and Lando, but if we need to, we can maybe take one hit and try and work around that. The only coverage that I think he has on his team for Clef, besides Vileplume, is Iron Head or Flash Cannon on Kyurem and Sludge Bomb on Zoroark. So those are the things that we'll need to watch out for with Clef. But I don't think Iron Head does a lot to fully physically defensive Clef. And if we have a boost, Flash Cannon's not going to do a lot. Sludge Bomb's not going to do a whole lot. So this and Tomahawk, the Sceptile, have the potential to put in the work. I'm really nervous, I must say that, but I am quite pleased with our strategy overall. I'm sad to be leaving Pokemon like Excadrill and Pangoro at home. I really wanted to find space for them on the team, but I think this is the best combination of 6 that we can bring, and hopefully, if nothing else, we can put up a good fight. A W would be nice, but I'm really just hoping for a good fight. So, good luck, Jack. Looking forward to battling you here in a few minutes. And I hope you guys all enjoyed watching this team prep video. Please be sure to check back tomorrow for the game, the actual game. And check back in the future for other Pokemon content. Until the next time, I will see you all later.